Hi, it's Lisa here from Fit and Wordy and Fitology 101 TV. So wanted to talk today about the difference between teaching aerobics in 2005 versus today in 2015. And quite honestly, it's been almost a decade since I taught. I think the number one biggest thing is no one calls it aerobics anymore. That's the first thing. We call it group exercise. We call it group fitness. We call it group training, or sometimes you just call it by classes or schedules or Zumba or work or whatever the branded name is. So that's the biggest difference. I think another thing that is different is back then, there weren't as many branded courses, or branded classes, I should say, right? So it's almost as if you need to have a brand, and it's the same old thing, right? So, high intensity training, whether it's Insanity, or it is the ripped model, or there's a ton of different ones out there. I can't even think of them. There's so many, but doesn't matter. They all are sort of doing this micro branding, and they're saying that they're a little different. And maybe there's a couple things that are different. Maybe it's the music. Maybe it's the way the instructors cue. For example, Zumba is a cardio dance class. Nothing else but cardio dance. And the biggest difference with Zumba is two things. One, they don't cue verbally. So I think some people cue verbally, but I just went through the Zumba instructor training, and we were told the number one thing is you shouldn't have to do a lot of verbal cueing. You should do all visual cueing, right? Go to the right, go to the left, but you don't say that. You just point left or you point right. The other thing is it's a lot of international music, so you're not going to hear a lot of hip hop. You're not going to hear a lot of US based stuff because they really just want to focus on Latin based music, or it's mostly Latin, but I think they're trying to do different music so that you do different moves than you would normally do. So, there's certain things that might appeal to people. Again, it's kind of just, I think, a money-making sort of item where you're paying, as a new instructor, a lot of money to learn how to teach a format that is pretty general, and for the most part, back in 2005, if you could teach, you could take a few classes and sort of mimic what they were doing and teach it yourself. Call yourself a cardio dance instructor. And the class was called cardio dance. And it was probably just as great, if not better, than Zumba. And you made your own music. I think that's a second thing too, is the biggest thing is you're doing your own music. So you don't have to use the branded music, or you can make your own mix, or you can find a DJ who's going to make a mix for you. And I think a lot of the new branded programs require you to purchase the music that is either something that they produce or a catalog they have. So again, it's another way for them to make money off of you. And the biggest thing, the third thing with these branded group exercise programs is you need a membership. So as an instructor, now instead of making money, you're paying money every month. So you have to pay money now to be part of the network, to get the new choreography, which quite honestly, back in 2005, you could just make up your own choreography, whether you took somebody else's class and borrowed a couple moves. I never like to say steal. I don't know that there's a lot of, moves that are specific to just one person. Or you could watch a video. You could go out on a Friday night, get some dance moves from other people at the club. There's so many different ways that you could come up with your own choreography. And these branded programs just kind of spoon feed the choreography to you. I think there's some sort of leeway where you can kind of make up your own choreography, but in 2005, everyone was making up their own stuff. You had to come up with it from your own brain. There were a lot of divas because some people were better at choreography than others. Some people had better music than others. And, just in general, there's always some instructors who are good and some instructors who are not so good. So I think that is another big difference between 2005 and 2015. And again, this video is mostly for people who maybe taught before or were thinking about teaching, maybe haven't taken a lot of classes, or have just been out of the industry for a while. And I've been in corporate America. And so coming back into this, it's different. You know, the world is very different. I don't think social media was not as popular. You know, you couldn't get on Facebook unless you were in college. And it was only for students, and in Twitter, I'm not even sure, maybe it existed. It wasn't that popular. Instagram, Snapchat, forget it. And for sure, no Periscope. So another big thing is instructors and the way they promoted themselves. So like I said, there were divas. And so everyone knew if, you know, there's in Chicago is where I mostly taught, and Lois was amazing, and she knows who she is. So Lois had awesome classes, and she was a diva in the fact that people loved her classes because they were branded as a Lois class. It wasn't as if she taught some pre-choreographed format that she had to pay into. It was the Lois style, and you knew when you went to her class you were going to get a really great workout. It was going to be high intensity, and she was really going to kick your butt. So that is one huge difference, in that it was more of word of mouth, and you kind of knew which instructors taught where, and sometimes clubs, health clubs, or even group exercise studios would give people exclusives. So they would say to an instructor, hey, teach only for our brand, whether it's Crunch, it's David Barton, it is Equinox, York Sports Club, and then we'll be known as the brand that has the lowest class, right? Today, people are kind of teaching everywhere. I don't know that the exclusivity is so much a big deal because people are on social media, and the instructors are becoming brands in and of themselves. So if an instructor has a class at, let's say, 4 different health clubs in town, you'll go to all 4 different health clubs. You'll have to go on and create your own social media accounts where people know where to find you. You're posting, hey, I'm subbing the 7 a.m. tomorrow, or letting people know, hey, Joseph's going to sub for me, but he's still really a great instructor, or his style's a little different, because you have an audience and you have a following, and they want to follow you to different clubs. And I think that's the biggest thing. You know, when you meet instructors nowadays, they hand you business cards, and that never would have happened before. You would just tell people where you taught and your name, and if they found you, they found you, and if they didn't find you, they didn't find you. So, you know, being responsible for your own branding, and I think a lot of that is the way people are paid. So back in 2005, you were just paid per the class. I mean, it would be the best classes to teach for were holidays. Because on holidays, typically people, they give you time and a half, or they give you double pay. And so if you're making $50 for a class, all of a sudden you're making $100 for the same exact class to teach Pilates or something else. And nowadays, it's a little different, and they're asking instructors to put a little more skin into it because people are signing up with the Mind Body Online. They're signing up with ClassPass. They have lots of choices, and people don't have to join a gym and only have the ability to take classes at that one particular health club. They can move all around, and gyms want more people in their classes, and they're willing to let people come and go with a general thing called a class pass. I think here in California, they have Wildfire, and so you pay a set membership, and then you can go to any classes within there, and the health club gets paid per how many people attend those classes, and in turn they want the instructors to be motivated to be good instructors. And so what will happen is if you have 10 people in your class, you're probably getting a set rate of $20 for the class, maybe even less, and then you're getting an additional share in the revenue. So if there are, for each additional person, you may get $2, $5, whatever it is, or they may have tiers. So you get $20 for the first 10 people that show up. Then you get $25 for the next 5 that show up past that. So the next 25. And then you get another, let's say another tack on of a bonus of another $10 for anyone you get above and beyond. So you're incentivized to get a lot of people into your class. And you don't really care if those people ever join the gym. If they join Crunch or Equinox or wherever you're teaching, you just want more people coming to your class so that you're making a higher hourly rate. So that's another big difference, is really being responsible for your own branding. And a lot of your own branding is your music. And before you had to buy music, I shouldn't say you had to, but you could mix your own music, but it was much more difficult. And today, everyone can be a DJ, right? There's so many tools and apps out there. There's no reason to have bad music. And by bad music, I really mean cover music. So, you know, there's back in 2005, if you wanted some of the top 40 songs on your music for your class, you had to go through Power Music or Dynamics, and they had these people that would sing over, you know, whatever the latest Taylor Swift song was, and they usually didn't sound very good, right? You could tell it's a cover song. It's mixed a little weird. Nobody likes it. So now you can make your own music, and you can just buy it off of iTunes. You can download it from Spotify. There's no reason really to have bad music. And your choice in music, just like everybody else's, you're going to have a following based on the kind of music you have. And I think that's another huge difference between 2005 and 2015. Now, the one thing that hasn't changed are the rates. So you would think with inflation and time, people would be making more money, but I've done a small poll and there's not a lot of information. I think IDEA puts out an instructor, you know, compensation salary review, and the rates are exactly the same. No one's making any more money. So, you know, if you were let's say a receptionist back in 2005 and you were making $27,000, and now in 2015 with inflation and cost of living adjustments, you're probably making $32,000 as the average. That is not the case with instructors. They have been at the same level. And if you think about your health club membership, it probably costs the same too. I don't know why it hasn't moved. That's the only thing that hasn't moved, which is probably a little depressing. The good news is the cost for certifications, whether it is ACE or AFA or those pre-design group exercise certifications, those pretty much cost the same too. So the cost to be an instructor has not increased at all. There are more options for you in terms of specialty certifications, but they have not gone up in price. So a typical, let's say, one-day training for the Jillian Michaels, whatever workout she has, is probably $299 for the day, or maybe they have a $199 special, and then you're certified. And you can teach this new branded course, which again is probably just a boot camp class, which you could have taught on your own. But that's it. Those are my thoughts on the difference between 2005, 2015. It's still a great time to teach aerobics. I think it is always going to be in demand. It's going to be popular, and it's fun, so you should do it.